Imagine this. You've done your pre-flight briefing at home, your luggage is packed perfectly, and you arrive at the gate agent feeling confident. You move through security, ready to begin your dream vacation, but suddenly, you're flagged. The agent pulls a bottle of expensive perfume from your bag, or perhaps it's that specific facial cream your dermatologist prescribed, the one you cannot easily replace. Before you can even explain, the agent shakes their head and points to the trash bin. Thousands of dollars worth of beloved products, confiscated in seconds. Hello everyone, I'm Elena. Welcome back. In my 12 years as a lead flight attendant for one of the major US carriers, I have spent more time in airline galleys than I have in my own kitchen. I've seen it all, from the ground up to 35,000 feet. Now, as a travel consultant dedicated to helping my fellow seniors navigate the often confusing world of modern travel, my top priority is to ensure you travel with total peace of mind. Today, we are talking about a major change in aviation security that everyone is buzzing about but very few understand. The old liquid rules are finally changing, thanks to incredible new technology. But here is the critical insight, the trap that is catching thousands of responsible travelers just like you. Assuming the rules have changed everywhere is the fastest way to lose your belongings. This inconsistent patchwork rollout of new rules has created a whole new kind of security line anxiety, but don't worry, your knowledgeable niece has you covered. By the end of this 30-minute session, you will know exactly what to pack, what to leave at home, and how to protect your favorite toiletries during this great liquid confusion. Let's make sure nothing intercepts your joyful takeoff. You know, during my 12 years in the air, I didn't just work in the galley preparing service or ensuring safety in the cabin. A significant part of a lead flight attendant's job is observing the flow of passengers during boarding. I could always tell who had just come through a stressful security experience. They were rushed, flushed, and often clutching their boarding pass like a life raft. I've had many conversations with passengers in the quiet moments of a long-haul flight. I remember a lovely woman, about my mother's age, who was absolutely heartbroken during boarding on a flight to London. At security, she was forced to throw away a bottle of high-end perfume her husband had given her for their 40th anniversary. She thought the liquid rule had been removed at her specific airport, but she was misinformed. It wasn't just the monetary loss that hurt. It was the loss of a sentimental memory, sacrificed because of a simple misunderstanding of a changing system. I don't want that to be you. I don't want you starting your adventure, whether it's a family reunion or that bucket list trip to the Mediterranean, with the emotional heartbreak of confiscation. For our community, the over 60 travelers, we often travel with specific skin creams, prescription strength ointments, or sentimental products that we have loved for decades. We value comfort and consistency. The current global landscape of airport security is what we in aviation would call irregular operations. The rules are changing, but they are not changing in unison. One airport terminal will tell you to keep your liquids inside your bag, while the very next airport on your itinerary will insist you take them out. If you assume the entire world moves on the same protocol, you will be flagged. This deep insight, that consistency in travel is currently a myth, is what we must plan for. Be meticulously prepared, not anxious. That is the lead flight attendant way. Let's be honest. Many of you listening today remember the golden age of flying, when security was a quick hello and you could keep your shoes and your dignity intact. But for nearly 2 decades now, we have all lived under the reign of the 3-1-1 rule. 3 or 1-1 means liquids in containers no larger than 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters. They must all fit into one clear, quart-sized plastic bag, and that one bag must be removed and placed in a security bin. Now, as your protective consultant, I want to validate your experience. We all hated this rule at first. It felt invasive and arbitrary. It forced us to become mathematical experts on toiletries just to go on vacation. But do you know what? We did it. Our community of experienced travelers mastered the protocol. The beauty of 3-1-1 was not that it was efficient, it was that it was consistent. Whether you were flying out of Miami, Manchester, or Mumbai, the rule was the same. You knew the drill. It was annoyance, yes, but it was predictable annoyance. Predictability is comfort when we travel. It gives us confidence. And that is exactly why the current changes are so frustrating for you. After finally feeling confident that you understood the security expectations, someone has moved the cheese. The consistent protocol has been replaced by confusion. Many of my clients tell me that the conflicting information online makes them feel like they are failing security before they even leave home. We rely on reliable protocols because they reduce anxiety, but right now, we are in a major transition phase in aviation history. We have to pivot from mastering one consistent rule to mastering a flexible strategy. And that's exactly what your flight attendant niece is going to teach you how to do. So, if the old 311 rule was working, even if we all hated it, why are we in this confusion now? Why has the aviation industry decided to shift the entire security paradigm? Here is the hidden industry secret, the piece of information that the airlines hope you never find out because they don't want to explain it. We are moving from primitive X-ray technology to absolute magic. The whole reason for this liquid confusion is the rollout of compute tomography scanners, or CT scanners for short. When I was a lead flight attendant, the security we had for decades was using old 2D X-rays. Think of it like taking a photo of your luggage with a camera that only sees shadows. Those shadows could be perfume, they could be shampoo, or they could be something dangerous. Because those old machines couldn't tell the difference, you had to physically remove those bottles and laptops and place them in separate bins. That action created that bottleneck, the bottleneck that has frustrated every traveler since 2006. But CT scanners, this technology is essentially the same as a medical CAT scan. We have taken advanced medical diagnostic technology and applied it to your toiletries. This machine uses a sophisticated X-ray generator that rotates around your bag, taking thousands of images per second. It doesn't just see a shadow, it measures the density and the complex atomic structure of the liquid inside. In simple terms, it knows if that bottle contains expensive French perfume or something else. It takes a perfect, high-resolution 3D picture of the inside of your suitcase. It is absolute magic compared to what we used to have. Because the CT scanner is that sophisticated, it no longer needs you to do that security dance. You can keep your liquids inside your bag. You can keep your tablet and laptop inside your bag. It can analyze them exactly where they are. This machine is designed to make the security queue move much faster, aiming to reduce that anxiety-inducing wait time by up to 50%. Now, why did the airlines keep this quiet for so long? Because they knew this transition would be messy. They wanted the benefits without having to manage the initial passenger confusion. I remember a flight back shortly after the initial liquid ban in 2006. The total ban was implemented with zero notice. We in the galley had to conduct emergency pre-flight briefings, not about safety, but about how to handle passengers who were furious because they just had to throw away $500 of toiletries. The confusion in the cabin was palpable. Today, the industry is trying to avoid that same chaos, but they have underestimated the power of bridge phrases. I'm here to tell you that this technology is a blessing, but only if you use it correctly. As your senior travel consultant, I must give you this deep insight. This tech is designed with your safety and comfort in mind. For my clients over 60, think about the physical relief. Less bending over to empty your bag into bins, less lifting of heavy bins to move them onto the belt. It is designed to preserve your energy for the trip itself. But, as we will see in the next chapter, that blessing can quickly become a curse if you assume that magic exists at every airport you visit. And that leads us to the heart of the great confusion. If CT scanners are so magical, why are we flagged? Why is that heartbreaking scene from Chapter 1 still happening every single day? But here is the part that the airlines and airport authorities really hope you never find out until you are already in the security line. This revolutionary technology is rolled out in a way that is utterly random and patchwork. Assuming the rule is changed everywhere is the single biggest security mistake you can make. The reality is that CT scanners are incredibly expensive and incredibly heavy. Installing them requires massive renovations to airport infrastructure. It is not as simple as swapping out an old computer monitor. It is a multi-decade project. Right now, we are in a high-alert, highly irregular period in aviation history. Some terminal-level managers have prioritized this tech, others have not. Smaller, regional airports cannot afford it yet. Entire countries are at different stages of rollout. Let's look at the example of the United Kingdom. They set a government-mandated deadline for all major airports to install this new tech. But guess what? Many airports missed that deadline, requiring extensions. Now, you have a situation where London Heathrow's Terminal 3 might allow you to keep your liquids in. But Terminal 5, the very same airport, might still require them to come out. It is utter inconsistency. And it is not just the UK. We see this pattern terminal by terminal in the US, hub by hub in Europe, and randomly throughout Asia. This mismatch creates what we in aviation call operational dissonance, or a conflict between what we expect and what we experience. And for my senior travelers, this dissonance is an absolute confidence killer. Imagine your itinerary. You fly out of a modernized green light hub like Amsterdam, where you get through security smiling with your liquids tucked securely in your case. You have a wonderful vacation, but on your return leg, your flight connects through a smaller, gray light outstation. When you arrive at security for that connecting flight, you use the same behavior that was rewarded in Amsterdam. But suddenly, you are stopped. A stern agent at that connecting airport, who only has old X-ray technology, sees a mass of liquids on their primitive screen. They pull you over, because you didn't nested those liquids in a clear quart bag, because you thought you didn't have to. They now treat you as a non-compliant passenger. They unpack your entire suitcase. In that moment of distress, they tell you that because you cannot prove those containers are the right size because they are not in that specific clear bag, they all must go in the bin. You have just lost everything, not because you were being tricky, but because you were connecting between two different eras of technology. I remember a flight from a modernized hub in the US to London in 2015. On board, I had a lovely gentleman, an experienced traveler over 70. He was on his way to his grandson's wedding. He had specifically researched the new rules at his home airport and knew he could keep his prescription liquid medication, a relatively large bottle, inside his bag. However, his return journey connected through a smaller, old tech terminal. At that security checkpoint, the agent saw a large bottle of liquid. They had old scanners. The system didn't flag the CT magic, it flagged a potential threat. Because he hadn't prepared for the mixed reality threat of connecting between airports with different technology, he was delayed for 45 minutes, nearly missed his flight, and arrived home exhausted and anxious rather than joyous. He did nothing wrong, but he was trapped by an inconsistent system. As your travel consultant, I need you to understand the mixed reality threat. It is the deep insight that you must always plan for the lowest common denominator of security tech on your entire itinerary. The emotional and physical stress of that second security line, especially when we are tired or managing medical conditions, has real health implications. Our community values comfort and consistency. This current system offers neither. Be prepared for the gray light airport even if you start at a green light hub. This meticulously protective approach is the only way to safeguard your peace of mind and your valuable belongings. Okay, we've covered the magic, and we have covered the great confusion. This next section is the most important part of this entire 30-minute session, and I want you to listen very closely because your health and comfort depend on it. This is your senior priority protection. Amidst all the confusing information about perfume and shampoo, there is one consistent global rule that has been in place since 2006, and it has never changed. It is called the medically necessary exception, or what I often call the blue ribbon rule. But here's the part that security agents often hope you don't know because it requires them to use special procedures and might slow down their belt. This rule gives you special protections regardless of the airport technology. What does this mean? It means that medically necessary liquids, creams, gels, and ointments over 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters are permitted through security, and they do not have to fit in your one clear quart-size bag. Let's define medically necessary through the eyes of a lead flight attendant whose first priority is your safety in the cabin. 1. Prescription liquid medications. Yes, your insulin. Yes, your heart medication. Yes, your specific eye drops. Size does not matter here. 2. Essential creams and ointments. Yes, that special dermatologist-prescribed eczema cream that costs a fortune. Yes, that ointment for a recent surgical scar. If it is required for your medical well-being, it is protected. 3. Dietary needs. Yes, juice or even a specialized dietary drink to manage conditions like diabetes or digestive issues. You are allowed to bring these liquids. And yes, you are allowed to bring an empty reusable water bottle, but that is a different conversation. But here's the critical constraint. You must declare these items at the start of your security screening. Do not hide them. Do not hope they slip through. This action, the declaration, is what activates your blue ribbon rule protection. As your consultant, I teach my clients a specific 3-step medication master protocol. Step 1. Pack all your medical liquids and creams in a separate clear bag. This keeps them distinct from your generic shampoo. Step 2. Check your itinerary. Yes, still check the tech, but prepare this bag regardless. Step 3. The moment you are next in line at the security belt, place that separate medical bag in a bin and say clearly to the first agent you see, I am declaring medically necessary liquids. They might test them using advanced techniques such as sniffing the vapor, which is non-invasive and safe, This process might take an extra 2 minutes, but it means you get to keep that crucial $400 prescription ointment. It means your safety in the air is not compromised because you were too nervous to pack your proper medication. I remember a flight layover in Paris in 2018. When we were boarding for the return flight to Atlanta, I had a medical incident at the aircraft door. A lovely woman, about the age of my clients, over 60, had a severe medical issue involving her sensitive skin due to a lack of proper treatment. When I was able to talk with her later in the galley, she told me she had been so nervous about security that she had tried to fit all her medications into that one tiny clear quart bag. To save space, she had intentionally left behind 2 larger bottles of her essential skin ointments. By the time she traveled to Paris and back, her skin had reacted, causing pain and distress. She was so fearful of failing security that she put her own well-being at risk. This deep insight that fear can be a dangerous travel companion is why I am so passionate about exceptions. The exception rule is there for you. As your travel consultant, I must ensure your physical safety. In 2026, the financial and safety implications of seniors not declaring medication are massive. You don't want to arrive at your destination and find you cannot replace your essential medication easily or affordably. You don't want to be the woman I had to assist at the aircraft door. Use your blue ribbon rule protection, declare it. Be confident that your need for comfort and health is respected by aviation law. We have navigated the high-tech magic of CT scanners, the absolute operational dissonance of the global patchwork rollout, and the life-saving blue ribbon rule for your medications. Now, we are going to get practical. How do you, as a savvy, serene traveler over 60, actually pack your bag during this great liquid confusion of 2026? But here's the strategy that security agents hope you never adopt, because it requires you to be meticulously organized before you even leave your bedroom. You must prepare for the old rules, even if you are departing from a new tech terminal. As your lead flight attendant niece, I have a foolproof, 3-step mixed reality packing protocol. This strategy assumes that at some point on your journey, whether it's a connection or your return flight, you will encounter a gray light airport with old technology. We are planning for the worst-case scenario so that anything else is a pleasant surprise. Step 1 is the nested bag method. I want you to go back to the habit we learned in 2006, but with a twist of comfort. Take your essential travel-size liquids, remember, still under 3.4 ounces, and put them into a nice, sturdy, easily accessible toiletry case. But inside that nice case, you must also nest a rolled-up, empty, clear, quart-sized zip-top bag. Why are we doing this redundancy? Because if you arrive at an old tech checkpoint and they demand that clear bag, you don't have to scramble or panic. You simply open your toiletry case, pull out the empty clear bag, transfer the bottles, and you are compliant. You have preserved your energy and your dignity. Step 2. Research your entire itinerary. This is where your senior priority planning comes in. Don't just check the rules for your home airport. Check every connecting hub in your arrival airport for the return leg. Look specifically at the website for each airport and search for security procedures, or carry-on liquids. Look for phrases like 3D screening, computed tomography, or explicitly, you do not need to remove liquids. If you cannot find that definitive language, assume the old rules apply. As your consultant, my deep insight is that the financial or emotional risk of being wrong is too high. An extra 5 minutes of research at home can save $200 of confiscated toiletries abroad. Step 3. Place for minimum effort. When you are closing that suitcase, placement is everything. Place your main nested toiletry case right at the very top of your carry-on contents. The moment you open that main zipper, the toiletry case should be the first thing you see. This deep insight means less bending over, less rummaging through your clothes, and zero physical strain on your back or shoulders at the security belt. Furthermore, remember your medication bag from Chapter 5. Do not nest that. That must be placed in a completely separate, easily accessible front pocket of your suitcase or your personal item bag. You want to be able to declare that medication with confidence and ease without digging through anything else. I remember a flight from Frankfurt to Atlanta in 2015. On boarding, I had an experienced senior traveler who arrived at her seat in absolute physical distress. Her hands were shaking and her face was flushed. When she was able to talk with me in the galley later, she told me that at the Frankfurt security checkpoint, which, at the time, was still heavily old tech, they demanded she produce the clear quart bag. She was a meticulous person, but she had nested her actual 3.0 O's bottles in 3 different small stylish cloth bags which were buried deep in her tightly packed carry-on. She couldn't find them easily. The agents grew impatient. They thought she was being difficult. She had to unpack her entire suitcase right there on the dirty belt. She arrived at her seat feeling humiliated and physically exhausted, rather than joyfully anticipating her trip. If she had used my nested bag protocol, she would have had that clear bag and her nested toiletries and bins in 15 seconds, preserved her dignity, and started her journey in comfort. We want comfort. We value physical ease. Be prepared. As your travel consultant, I must give you this medical context. The physical strain of disorganized packing at a stressful security belt has real health implications for seniors. Repeated bending, lifting heavy bags, and struggling with tightly packed cases are leading causes of lower back strain for travelers. By meticulously organizing your bag with the nested bag method, you are not just protecting your toiletries, you are protecting your spine and your physical energy for the adventure ahead. We have covered the strategy. We have covered the rules. But what if I told you there is a way to bypass this entire liquid confusion altogether? A way to walk through security, CT scanner, or old X-ray with total confidence, knowing that no agent will ever hold up your bag and demand you find the clear plastic pouch. This is my favorite segment of the entire 30-minute session. As your authoritative consultant, I'm pulling out my secret weapon, the definitive insight that security agents hope you never adopt because it makes their entire liquid screening job for you irrelevant. Switch to solids. Liquids cannot be confiscated if they are not liquids. This technology, this gear, has advanced massively in the last 5 years. It is no longer just for backpackers. It is now premium gear for experienced travelers just like us. Let's look at my definitive toolkit for solid toiletries. 1. The solid shampoo and conditioner bar. These look like beautiful bars of soap and they are miraculous. One single shampoo bar can last for up to 80 washes, replacing 2 to 3 large bottles of liquid. As your niche expert, my deep insight is that this gear saves you money. You aren't buying travel-size bottles constantly. They save you space, and perhaps most critically for seniors traveling with special occasion clothing, they never leak. You will never open your suitcase in London and find that your body wash has exploded onto your gala dress. I know some of you are thinking, Elena, how do I even use that? It looks strange. It's simple. You just wet your hair, wet the bar, and rub it either on your hands or directly onto your scalp. It lathers beautifully, just like a liquid. When you are finished, let it dry for a few minutes before putting it back in its tin or a little reusable pouch. 2. Toothpaste tablets. We have had toothpaste in tubes since the 1890s, and it's finally time for an upgrade. These are tablets. You pop one in your mouth, chew it slightly to create a paste, and then brush with a wet toothbrush as normal. One tiny tin replaces 3 tubes of travel toothpaste. Size does not matter here because a tablet is not a liquid, gel, or aerosol. It is smart gear for smart travelers. 3. Solid cologne, perfume, and body soap. Ditch the fragile glass bottles that get you flagged at security. Look for solid cologne or perfume sticks. They are lighter, they cannot break, and they glide on like a solid lip balm. Similarly, switch from body wash to a simple, high-quality bar of soap. It has been working for centuries, and it still works at the security belt in 2026. I remember a flight from New York to Paris in 2017. I had a lovely gentleman on board, over 70, who was traveling for his 50th wedding anniversary gala. He was so organized. He had followed every rule. He had his one clear quart bag packed meticulously. However, during boarding, a passenger above him struggled with their oversized carry-on, knocking his bag from the overhead bin. The fragile glass bottle of expensive French aftershave inside his case shattered. When we reached cruising altitude and I went to help him in the cabin, the odor was overwhelming. His entire suitcase was soaked. The financial and emotional risk was devastating. Not only did he lose his precious cologne, but the liquid had leaked onto his tuxedo shirt for the gala. He had to rush order a new shirt from a Parisian tailor, costing him $300 and causing immense anxiety during the anniversary trip. If he had switched to solid cologne stick, which can't break and can't leak, he would have had zero security worry, zero financial loss, and an anxiety-free flight. This toolkit is about protection, comfort, and smart gear. Embrace the solids and you embrace total travel peace of mind. We have covered so much in this 30-minute session. We have dismantled the great liquid confusion. We have looked behind the curtain at the magical CT scanners and the frustrating patchwork rollout. We have secured your senior priority blue ribbon protection for medically necessary items, and we have mastered the definitive protective nested bag protocol and solid toiletries toolkit. But here is the final truth, the deep insight that your flight attendant niece wants you to carry on to every flight you ever take from this moment forward. You have earned these trips. You have worked hard for decades to be here, at this clearance, preparing for this adventure. Travel should be an act of joyful exploration, not an act of anxiety line management. The entire reason I am so meticulous and authoritative about these rules is so that you don't have to be. Be meticulously prepared. Adopt a flexible strategy. Planning for the gray light airport protects you from heartbreak and financial loss at every airport. Use the exception rule to protect your health. Embrace the solid toiletries toolkit to protect your physical ease and your belongings. Prepared, not scared. Meticulous, not anxious. This is the lead flight attendant strategy for travel peace of mind. Now, I must address something special. We have covered a great deal today, and I understand that the global travel environment is always irregular, with rules changing faster than our destination time zones. To keep bringing you these critical, authoritative travel safety updates weekly while I am busy consulting one-on-one with my premium clients and traveling abroad to verify new safety procedures personally, I use advanced technology, like the AI system you're seeing today, to help share my 12 years of experience. This powerful tool allows me to reach thousands of you instead of just one-on-one, ensuring that Auntie Elena's structured safety manual is always there whenever you are preparing for your next smooth takeoff. Technology allows me to leverage my human experience to serve you better. But the irregular world keeps spinning, and I want you to have total confidence. So, to recap everything we have learned today in a single, definitive guide, please download my Safe Traveler Master Checklist in the description below. It's my gift to you. A protective flight plan for your toiletries, medication, and smart gear, ensuring you always arrive in comfort. If you found this structured security briefing helpful, please subscribe to our community here for your weekly insider travel safety briefing. And I would be deeply, deeply grateful if you would share your own story in the comments. Which airport are you flying out of next, or do you have a specific travel rule you'd like Auntie Elena to dismantle next? We read every comment, and your experiences help our entire community travel smarter. The skies are changing, and the ground is irregular. But with the right checklist, the definitive authority, and a meticulous, flexible strategy, you can always protect your joy. You have cleared this checkpoint. Your adventure is just beginning. Let's fly right.